Hey, did you know that I had a podcast? That's right, the Geekdom 101 podcast over on geekdom101.libsyn.com. They're basically long form episodes I put out every couple weeks where we talk about everything involving nerd culture, movies, video games, TV shows, music, everything under the sun, nostalgia and new stuff. We've had shows on Tarantino movies, the MCU, Disney films, everything you could possibly think of, and interviews with some really great creators and really important people that I think you would love. Check out the Geekdom 101 podcast. It is on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and Google Play. Geekdom101.libsyn.com. I promise you'll have a blast listening to the podcast. If you have a long commute or if you're at work or at the gym, the shows are over an hour, pretty much all of them, so you'll have a great time, I hope, listening to the show. I think you will. And thanks. Check it out. Once again, geekdom101.libsyn.com. The hero of Dragon Ball, Goku, appeared at the end of manga chapter 57 in preparation to face off against Moro and his forces. But the fact that Goku showed up and Vegeta has not shown up yet has made me wonder what the actual plans are for the final confrontation against Moro in Dragon Ball Super's current manga arc, the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc. So on this video, I want to have a discussion about the possibility of Vegeta maybe being the hero here, because there is a chance here that Vegeta might not only be the hero, he could be the hero, or it could be that he has a very important part in defeating Moro once and for all. So joining me to talk about this on this video, please welcome back to Geekdom 101. We've had lots of discussions before on this manga arc, and I look forward to talking to him once again about it. Please welcome back Oppai Senpai.
Hola, mi gente. It's Senpai. What's going on? I'm so excited. Oh, Vegeta.
Vegeta, yes. Well, I'm glad we're talking about this today here. So the manga chapter, historically in Dragon Ball, before we talk about the current manga chapter, Goku's always been kind of the guy to show up last. There's kind of I guess you can call it a formula, or you can call it, a trope, where everybody else fights the villain and then Goku shows up at the end. In the Piccolo arc, they did it. In the Saiyan saga, they did it. In the Frieza saga, you had like Krillin, Gohan, Vegeta, then Piccolo, then Vegeta fights Frieza, then Frieza beats Vegeta, he dies, Goku shows up, a bunch of stuff happens. In the Cell saga, you have like Vegeta and Trunks taking their turns against Cell, Piccolo also, then Goku shows up, then Gohan becomes the hero. It's just kind of got that sort of formula where you have, people fighting the villain or the henchman, and then Goku shows up at the end. Same thing with Resurrection F. And in my review for that manga chapter, I talked about the similarities between this and Resurrection F. Goku showed up before Vegeta. Now, Goku was training with Miras. Vegeta was training with the Yardrats. Now, to me, the fact that Goku showed up first, it does not guarantee that Vegeta will be the triumphant hero at the end of this thing, but it is a bit of a break from the formula because Goku always shows up last, Oppai.
Yeah, he usually does. In fact, they made a joke about it at the end of the chapter 57 where he says, sorry, I got a habit of showing up a little bit late.
Every time.
But the thing is that whenever Goku shows up, the other side characters, they always have this happy look in their face. Goku is a beacon of hope. But right. I think they're doing this on purpose because the fact that they're having Goku show up before Vegeta is to give us a false sense of hope. And then they're going to break that hope by showing that Moro is going to wipe the floor with Goku.
Yeah, either that or, that's, I don't disagree with you on that, but also it could be one of those things where it is kind of a bait and switch to where, you think it's going to be the end. Because look, there's no way that Goku's just going to beat Moro and the arc is over. I don't think Vegeta's going to show up late and be like, did I miss the fight? It's not happening. I don't see that happening. So that does, to me, make a lot of sense. Yeah, and Goku showing up, before Vegeta, it might not mean he's going to actually win, but it definitely means something to me. And I feel like even though Goku has been training with Miras, I don't know if he's really going to be able to tap into Ultra Instinct right away. I don't think it's going to be that easy for him.
No, I don't think he will. So I think we should talk about how Vegeta could defeat Moro. What is that he's going to do to be able to at least contribute a major role?
Right. Well, before we talk about that, we should talk about what he's not going to do. Okay. First and foremost, I've had some people say that, what if he brings Broly? Terrible idea. That's a terrible idea. All right. Let me tell you why. Because what's Broly going to do against Moro? Broly is the embodiment of pure rage and energy. Moro can just suck him, pause, quickly, and you're done. Like, bringing Broly into this fight is a really, really bad idea. That's not how you beat Moro. His powers, his magical power to absorb energy is going to be counterintuitive to what Broly can bring to the table. So no, Broly's not a good idea. Also, you and I talked about this before we started recording. The fusion of Goku and Vegeta to Gogeta, it's possible, but it doesn't seem to be likely based on the theme of this arc, which, as we talked about, is learning. Goku and Vegeta being so advanced, but still having to learn from the Yardrats, from Mirrors. Both of these sort of mentors have made Goku and Vegeta better than even they were in the Tournament of Power.
Right, they have. And that's kind of the theme compared to other sagas. This saga is about the individual training via a master training each individual and them growing stronger through their own method, but a method that they're not used to. So Goku is relying on obviously the angel, and Vegeta is relying on a Yardrat. It's very different than what we've seen before.
Well, one thing I liked about the Broly movie is that it did change the formula too, because in the Broly movie, it wasn't like it was Gohan and Piccolo all fighting Broly. When Broly shows up, it's Vegeta, then Goku, then, Frieza for a little while, then Gogeta. I do like that they're somewhat changing the formula a little bit, even though I do feel like this arc is starting to become a lot like Resurrection F. But back to what we were saying, yeah, Broly showing up is a bad idea. So, and Gogeta, it's possible, but I don't see that being the solution here, like you said, because of the different individual training. But Vegeta's got to bring something to the table. Now, I'm not saying that Vegeta and Goku can't team up against Moro and use their own individually learned tactics to win, but there's got to be more to it than that.
Yeah, well, there's got to be something different because they tried something similar before and it didn't work out for them. So trying the same thing again, it's not going to work, I think, in my opinion. Them teaming up against Moro the way that they did in the previous chapters, I don't think it's going to work out for them.
And plus, we just saw Gogeta in the Broly movie. We're not going to see him this soon, right? It's going to give us some time.
No, we always like to, as fans, we want them to use their biggest guns, but they're not going to use it in this saga, right. I don't think, because there's got to be another method. Not yet, right? Yeah. So what I think is going to happen, Vegeta's going to arrive, and I think he's going to arrive after essentially Goku gives him enough time to master whatever technique he's trying to learn. Now, what is this technique? I mean, people have been wondering this for the past couple of months. What is this new technique that he's going to learn? Well,
right.
So my theory on this, and then you can disagree or give me your own theory as well, but my theory is this. I believe that Vegeta is going to do something similar to energy bending that we saw in Avatar, The Last Airbender. If you guys, any of you who are fans of the show, if you're not a fan of the show, basically what happened towards the end is that our main character, Aang, was able to essentially remove one of the abilities of his enemies. He was able to tap into his energy and kind of cut the cord and remove his ability. So because of the way that Vegeta is training with the Yardrats, which is one of the Yardrats said, before your training here, your body and spirit were so off balance that you couldn't project your own power very well.
Right.
So he's learning how to control that, how to tap into that energy better. And I believe that he's going to be able to essentially block and prevent Moro from using his absorption energy. And that's going to then bring Moro into not relying on his magic, but relying on his own individual power and strength. And it's going to kind of balance the scales.
So basically what you're saying is you think that Vegeta will figure out a way to sort of, in a way, kind of manipulate Moro, I guess I don't want to say brain cells, but sort of the particles of energy around him into blocking the absorption. So whenever Moro tries to suck out your energy, Vegeta will figure out a way to either reverse the move onto Moro or just stop it from doing it entirely.
Exactly, because I know we've been thinking about the androids being a great use against Moro, and they may be, but by the time Vegeta arrives, the androids may have been defeated. So we may not be able to rely on them by the time Vegeta comes. So that's why I think that.
And we don't even know what the effect's going to be with Moro and the artifact, because they have infinite energy, but their kind of energy is a different kind of energy than regular martial artists have. I mean, they have ki, but they have a different kind of ki. So that might not be enough for Moro anyway. I don't think they're going to be a major player in this arc. But then again, who knows? I mean, we don't know. But I agree with you in that it would make sense if Vegeta's technique had something to do with stopping Moro from doing what he does best. Like you said, cut the cord. If you're going to fight against an enemy and they have one move that is going to always win, the best you can do is stop it from doing that move. It's kind of like in Revenge of the Sith when, to bring up Star Wars, when Anakin Skywalker cuts off Count Dooku's hands. You know, Dooku's a great swordsman. It's been talked about in canon and in Legends a lot. And Anakin cut off his hands, and that's essentially how it works. So with Moro, you're basically saying Vegeta's going to have to cut off his ability to absorb energy, in which case he's screwed at that point, because at that point, not only Goku, but possibly even some of the others he fights to take out Moro. But will it really be that easy, though? That's the question.
And I mean, this is one of the weaknesses of Moro that I think this ability of Vegeta is going to expose, and it's the fact that Moro is relying too much heavily onto one technique. And putting all your eggs in one basket. But once that's taken away from you, what are you going to do? And I think that is the lesson that the show is trying to, or the manga is trying to show us by having Vegeta.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think that's it. No, and I'm not even trying to be funny right now. I think you've just hit the nail on the head. I think that's exactly the theme that they're going for here, is that you can't put all your eggs. And you know what? No, dude, you figured it out. Let me tell you why. Because look what's happening with Goku. They're all putting their eggs into one basket with Goku, and that is Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct is not a guarantee. Goku cannot use MUI or UI, the Master Self movement. He cannot use that move at will. And if you can't do something at will, then that greatly prohibits you from being able to have it as a trump card. Goku can use the Kamehameha, some of the other moves, Kaioken, Super Saiyan Blue, all that good stuff. But stuff like the Genki Dama takes time, and of course, Ultra Instinct, there's no guarantee. But if Vegeta learns something new, it's sort of like Toyotaro and maybe Toriyama's telling us, hey, you can't just rely on your trump card. Even Fusion as a trump card, you got to have multiple different ways to beat your opponent. And to me, that's a great lesson right there for both Goku and Moro to lose. So for all we know, Goku and Moro might fight each other, pound each other out, no pause on that one. And then like Moro could end up, both Moro and Goku can learn the lesson of, don't put your eggs in one basket, and Vegeta could end up being the smart hero. Let's not forget that Toriyama did say many, 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 many years ago that he thought about making Vegeta the centerpiece of his own story, of his own movie. Now, in Resurrection F, he did do a lot. He did not kill Frieza, but he did do a lot more than we thought he was going to do initially. And in Broly, he definitely did a lot more because he didn't lose to Broly. He actually did not lose that fight, the first part of that Broly fight. Goku and him retreated, but Vegeta didn't just get beat up like he always does. So I think you figured it out, man. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, and we got a little preview of this in chapter 57 because as Krillin was talking to Master Roshi, and Master Krillin asked him, why don't you use that move that you use against Jiren? Now, he was referring to chapter 37, 39.
The Roshi Ultra Instinct that everybody went crazy over.
Exactly. And Master Roshi, I mean, being so much wisdom that he knows, he's like, well, I have to clear my mind in order to do this first. And it was being effective. But then as soon as the girls fused and his mind wasn't clear anymore, he wasn't able to rely on that technique, even though it was working for quite a little bit. So that kind of showing us that relying on one technique is not something that's going to work out at the end.
And you know what? Maybe Goku will do Ultra Instinct for a little while. I think we will see him do it for maybe a couple, maybe he will fight Moro with Ultra Instinct. And then just like with Jiren, he loses concentration or whatever. Boom. Or he gets too much concentration, because remember, Ultra Instinct is the reverse. It's not about it's the opposite. You have to let your body move on its own. Goku might overthink it, lose Ultra Instinct, and then Moro takes advantage of it. They could do all kinds of stuff like that. So that sounds good to me. Let us know in the comments if you agree with Opie. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think we nailed it in the head.
I think you did. I think I can't say anything more. So let us know in the comments if you agree. If you do not agree, what other ideas do you think you might have for Vegeta's victory in this arc if he does get the victory? Thank you again. Check out Opie Senpai's channel, and we'll talk soon.